The call came just as I was folding a stack of towels, ordinary, quiet. The kind of morning a woman my age is supposed to feel safe in. Instead, my phone buzzed with a number I did not recognize, and when I answered, a firm male voice said, "Ma'am, this is Officer Dalton Pierce with the Lake Lure Division. We're at your lake house. There are 2 individuals here claiming to be your daughter and son-in-law." My grip tightened. Claiming yes. "Ma'am," he replied. "They say you gave them permission to stay on the property. They entered using an old key. The alarm system flagged it." For a moment, the sounds of Asheville, the morning radio, distant traffic fell away. All I heard was the echo of a word I had spoken weeks earlier. No, I had told my daughter, Sabrina, that she could not stay in my vacation house. I had repeated it twice, as calmly as I could manage. Yet here we were. Officer Pierce continued, "Ma'am, we need confirmation. Do they have your authorization?" My throat felt tight, but my voice came out steady. "Officer." "No, they do not have permission." There was a pause, the kind that forces you to face the truth you have been avoiding. "Understood," he said. "We'll keep them here until you arrive." I did not remember hanging up. I only remembered grabbing my purse, my keys, and stepping into the driveway as if the ground beneath me had shifted overnight. My heart thudded hard, part anger, part disbelief, part something heavier, a kind of grief I had never expected my own child to cause. I locked the door behind me, slid into the driver's seat, and started the engine. Lake Lure was nearly an hour away, a drive I usually enjoyed. That morning, it felt endless. As the road curved out of Asheville, one thought pressed against my ribs, cold and heavy. How had things gone this far? 2 months earlier, I had believed the worst was already behind us. I had no idea it was only the beginning. 2 months earlier, the air at the Asheville Botanical Gardens buzzed with laughter and music, the kind that makes strangers believe a family is whole. I stood near the arch draped in white lilies, watching my daughter, Sabrina, glow beneath the soft lights. She looked beautiful. She looked happy. And I told myself that was enough, even as my knees ached from running errands all week. "Eleanor, the photographer wants to confirm payment," the wedding planner whispered. "I already handled it," I said, pulling the receipt from my purse. I had handled all of it: venue fees, catering, the photographer's extended hours, the dress alterations, even the decor when the florist miscounted the bouquets. I had even paid for the last-minute honeymoon upgrade when Colton claimed his card wasn't working. I had spent months bleeding money quietly, the way a mother does when she wants her daughter's day to be perfect. During dinner, Loretta Reyes drifted from table to table, touching centerpieces I had paid for, accepting compliments on the arrangements as if she had been the one who stayed up late comparing quotes and calling vendors. "She has such taste," someone complimented. Loretta smiled gently. "Well, we wanted only the best for our children." I swallowed the sting. This day was Sabrina's, not mine. When the reception ended and the last song faded, I walked around collecting stray napkins and forgotten glasses. Sabrina slipped out the back door with a thick stack of cards in her hands, her new husband beside her. I followed at a distance, assuming she was heading to the car. Instead, I watched her press the entire bundle of wedding gift money, every carefully written check, every thoughtful envelope into Loretta's waiting hands. Sabrina whispered, "You need it more than we do. You're my family now." Loretta tucked the envelopes into her bag without hesitation. I stepped back before Sabrina could see me. Something inside my chest shifted, not loudly, but sharply, the way a hairline fracture warns of a future break. I had paid for everything, yet somehow I was the only one expected to give more. Sabrina had always been the kind of child who wilted under sharp voices, and bloomed under praise. When she was 13, she cried for an hour because a teacher said she could try harder. When she was 15, she changed her entire schedule because a friend joked that her electives were boring. Even then, I could see how quickly she bent herself to keep the peace, how she soaked up validation like sunlight. Back then, I thought it was just adolescence. I didn't understand that she would carry that need into adulthood. I met Loretta Reyes for the first time when Sabrina was in college. She arrived at my door in a cream blazer and perfect makeup, offering a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Your daughter is brilliant," she said smoothly. "She deserves a world that appreciates her." Her tone suggested that world did not include me. Another time, at a brunch she hosted, she commented, "Sabrina has your gentleness, but none of your limitations. She is meant for bigger rooms." Sabrina laughed nervously, glancing between us, and I swallowed my discomfort. The shift happened slowly, little invitations I was not included in. Outings Sabrina forgot to mention. Inside jokes formed without me. Loretta never raised her voice. She didn't need to. She used praise and glamour and a steady drip of comparisons. The kind meant to draw Sabrina closer while pushing me quietly to the edges. After the wedding, when I saw Sabrina hand over every dollar of gift money, something clicked. That moment was not spontaneous or thoughtless. It was the final step in a long, careful pattern. One evening, Martha Ellery sat across from me at my kitchen table, sipping tea. "Eleanor," she said gently, "Loretta's been grooming her for years. You just kept hoping it wasn't true." The words landed heavier than any criticism. I sat there, feeling the weight of it. The years of small cuts I had written off as misunderstandings. The truth had always been there. I had simply refused to see it. 2 months after the wedding, Sabrina breezed into my house like nothing had happened. No thank you for the bills I covered. No acknowledgement of the gift money she had handed to Loretta, just a bright smile and a too cheerful, "Hi." "Mom." I set down my mug. "You here for something?" She hesitated before sitting. "Colton lost his job. We overspent after the wedding. It's been hard." The way she said hard felt rehearsed. I nodded slowly. "I'm sorry to hear that." She leaned forward. "We just need a place temporarily. Something stable while we figure things out." There it was, the real reason. My stomach tightened. "What are you asking, Sabrina?" She exhaled as if relieved I finally said it. "Your lake house, the one at Lake Lure. It's empty most of the time. We'd take good care of it." I stared at her. "You want to live there? Just until things settle," she said quickly. "Loretta can't host us. She's been really sick. Doctor's visits, tests." She lowered her voice. "She didn't want me to worry you. A lie sits differently when it comes from your own child. It leaves a tremor beneath the ribs." I reached for my phone and opened a message thread from earlier that morning. Photos, Loretta at a brunch, smiling with friends, healthy as ever. "Sick?" I asked quietly. "Is that what she told you?" Sabrina's eyes flickered. "Mom, please don't make this a thing." "She's fine." Sabrina, her face tensed. "That doesn't change our situation. It changes the truth." I said, "And the truth matters." Silence stretched between us. She waited, fully expecting I would fold the way I always had. I inhaled. Steady and slow. "No." Her mouth parted. Confusion washed across her face. Then disbelief. "What do you mean, no? You always help." "Not this time." She blinked hard, like the word itself offended her. "I can't believe you'd do this to me." I held her gaze. "I can't keep giving my life away to fix yours." The morning after I refused Sabrina, my phone lit up with a message from Colton. "You're choosing money over family. Unreal." I stared at the screen, feeling heat rise in my chest. Colton rarely contacted me directly. When he did, it was only to push responsibility my way. I typed nothing back. Silence was the only answer I had left for him. An hour later, my phone rang again. Loretta's name appeared. I should have let it go to voicemail, but old habits die slowly. I answered. "Eleanor," she began, her voice smooth as always. "You are complicating a simple situation. A simple situation," I repeated. "They just need support," she said. "You have space." They have none. It reflects poorly on everyone when family turns on family. I swallowed. "Loretta, you accepted every dollar of their wedding gifts. If you wanted to support them, that would have been a place to start." She paused, the silence sharpening. "We both know Sabrina listens to me. You could make this easier." "I am done making things easy." I hung up before she could respond. My hand shook, but my spine felt strangely solid. Sometime in the late afternoon, my doorbell rang. When I opened it, Sabrina stood there with red-rimmed eyes and trembling hands. "Mom," she whispered. "Please, we have nowhere to go." I stepped back slightly. "You have options. You just don't like them." She shook her head, tears falling fast. "Why are you doing this? You've never shut me out before." Her voice cracked, and for a moment, I felt the old instinct pull at me, the urge to fix, soothe, provide. The urge that had carried her from diapers to diplomas. The urge that had left me empty more times than I could count. But I remembered the wedding money. I remembered the lie about Loretta's health. I remembered being invisible. I steadied myself. "No, Sabrina." This time, the word left no space for negotiation. The day after Sabrina cried on my porch, I drove to the lake house and changed everything I could. I reset the alarm code to a 12-digit sequence I knew she would never guess. I enabled two-step verification and removed the old access accounts, the ones I had set up years earlier when Sabrina still visited on weekends. As I worked through the settings, a dull ache tightened in my chest. I had never imagined I would need protection from my own child, but wanting peace did not mean I had to leave my life unlocked. When I returned home, I placed my phone on the counter. Not 5 minutes later, it buzzed with a sharp alert. Motion detected at Lake Lure property. My breath stalled. I opened the live camera feed. The porch light flickered, and the shadow of someone shifted just at the edge of the frame. A hand tested the doorknob, slow, tentative, familiar. Then another figure stepped back, whispering something I could not hear. After a few seconds, the shadows drifted away. They had not broken in, not yet, but they had tried the door. I took a step back from the phone, feeling the floor tilt under me. Whether it was Sabrina or Colton, I could not tell. The knowing hurt either way. I spent the next hour gathering what I should have gathered years ago: emails confirming payments for the wedding, bank statements showing deposits I made when they were short, screenshots of text messages, and now the camera alerts. I organized them into a single folder on my computer. Martha came over that evening. As she often did when the nights felt heavier than the days, I told her what happened, the tremor in my voice betraying the calm I tried to hold. She squeezed my hand gently. "The moment you stopped bending, they started breaking." I nodded, though the words settled like a storm warning inside me. The locked door had not stopped them. It had only sparked the next move. The morning it happened, the sun had barely risen over Asheville. I was halfway through pouring coffee when my phone vibrated against the counter, an unfamiliar number flashing on the screen. I answered without thinking. "Ma'am, this is Officer Dalton Pierce with the Lake Lure Division," a voice said. "We're at your lake house." 2 individuals entered the property using an old key. My stomach dropped. Who, a woman identifying herself as Sabrina Markham, and a man identifying himself as Colton Reyes? I gripped the edge of the counter. "How did they get inside?" "They say it's a family misunderstanding," he replied. "But your alarm system flagged it as unauthorized." "We need clarification before we proceed." A cold wave slid through me. They had actually done it. After all the crying on my porch, the accusations, the lies, they had used the emergency key I gave Sabrina years ago, the same key I trusted her with. "Officer," I said, my voice shaking as I tried to steady it. "They do not have permission to be there. We'll hold them until you arrive." I grabbed my purse, my keys, and stepped out the door. The air felt heavier than usual, thick with something I could not name. As I drove past the familiar Asheville streets and toward the winding road to Lake Lure, my mind replayed every moment that led to this. Sabrina at 13, sobbing into my shirt. Sabrina at 20, asking for help with tuition. Sabrina at 33, handing her wedding gift money to another woman. And now Sabrina breaking into a home she did not own. Somewhere along the way, she had become someone I could not recognize. Someone who believed my kindness was permanent, like a switch that could never turn off. My hands tightened around the steering wheel as the lake came into view. Officer Dalton's cruiser glowed faintly in the distance. Parked near the front steps of my house, I slowed the car, bracing myself for what I would see when I stepped out. Officer Dalton's cruiser was the first thing I saw as I pulled into the gravel drive. The second was Sabrina, sitting on the porch steps with 2 suitcases at her feet, her eyes swollen and wild. Colton stood beside her, arms crossed, jaw tight, as if the world had wronged him personally. Sabrina shot up the moment I stepped out of the car. "Mom, thank God. Please just tell them we're allowed to be here. This is all a misunderstanding." I kept my steps slow. "Sabrina, you were not given permission." Her face crumpled. "You told me no when I was upset. I thought you didn't mean it. You always come around." "Not this time." Colton stepped forward, pointing at Officer Dalton. "She's overreacting. This is family business. You wouldn't actually call the cops on your own daughter." "I didn't call them." I said, "The alarm system did, and I am not overriding it." Officer Dalton approached us calmly. "Ma'am, we need your final say. Do you want to file trespassing charges?" Sabrina grabbed my arm. "Please, Mom, please don't do this." I looked at her hand. The same hand I had held crossing streets and guiding through heartbreaks. Then I gently pulled away. "No charges," I said. "But they leave today." Colton scoffed. "This is unbelievable." Officer Dalton nodded. "Understood. I'll escort them off the property." A white van pulled into the driveway, then the locksmith. He stepped out with a metal case in hand. "You, Eleanor Markham?" "Yes." He headed to the door and began dismantling the lock. The sound of metal turning against metal echoed through the still air. Sabrina sobbed openly as the old lock hit the porch with a soft clatter. "How can you watch this? How can you let him change your locks on your own daughter?" I stood still, my arms at my sides. For the first time, I didn't move toward her. I didn't reach out. I didn't soothe. I let the moment stand exactly as it was. 2 days after the break-in, I heard from a cousin of Colton's just a short text saying Sabrina and Colton had shown up at Loretta's door with their suitcases. Loretta refused to let them inside. Too much attention. She reportedly said, "I will not involve myself in this foolishness." The message ended with, "They left angry." No one knows where they went next, but by evening, another call came, this time from a distant aunt in the Reyes family. Her voice was tight. "Eleanor, is it true about the police? I realized the story was spreading anyway." Silence would only let others rewrite it, so I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and composed a single email. I typed each name carefully. Sabrina Markham, Loretta Reyes, every adult member of the Reyes family. I attached the documents one by one. Receipts for every expense I covered for the wedding venue fees. Catering payments, photographer invoices, dress alterations, floral orders, screenshots of the bank transfers I made when Sabrina and Colton said they were struggling, the photos of Sabrina handing the wedding gift money to Loretta. The security logs from the lake house showing unauthorized entry, and the video stills of them walking inside with the old key. No commentary, no accusations, just the truth. I pressed send. It took less than 15 minutes for my phone to explode with missed calls. Loretta called twice. Colton's father called 3 times. One of Colton's uncles left a voicemail saying, "They lied to all of us. We're done helping him. This shame is on them." An hour later, Sabrina's name appeared on my screen. For a moment, I almost answered. Instead, I watched it ring out. Seconds later, a voicemail notification popped up. When I opened it, her voice trembled. "Mom, I didn't know it would go this far. I didn't know she'd use me like that. I don't know what to do anymore." I listened to the entire message, then set the phone down gently. I did not call back. 2 weeks after the email detonated through the Reyes family, I sat across from my attorney in a quiet office overlooking downtown Asheville. He slid the updated documents toward me. "Eleanor, this will finalize the changes," he said. "Are you certain?" I nodded. "More certain than I have been about anything in years. With one signature. The lake house no longer belonged to the future Sabrina believed she would inherit. It would go to a foundation in Asheville that provided housing and legal support for older women financially exploited by their own children. A cause that suddenly felt painfully personal. And the inheritance adjustments he asked. I want them exactly as written. Sabrina is not to receive a single asset. He sent the notice that afternoon. By evening, my phone buzzed. A message from Sabrina's number, a screenshot of the legal notification. Her text followed, jagged and frantic. "You're cutting me out. You can't be serious." "Mom," I did not respond. Instead, I opened my laptop and drafted something that had been sitting inside me for years, a short, anonymous essay posted to a local Asheville community board. It spoke about parents who spent their lives giving, only to be treated like wallets when they grew older. I wrote about boundaries, about dignity, about the cost of raising children who forget you are human. I did not name Sabrina. I did not need to. The post spread quickly, shared in neighborhood groups and church circles, even mentioned by a local radio host. A few comments said, "Sounds like someone I know." When Martha read it, she squeezed my hand and whispered, "You finally said it." Within days, I heard Loretta had quietly withdrawn from several community events. Too much whispering, apparently. Too many people wondering how much she had taken and how long she had been taking. One evening, Martha and I sat on my porch, sipping tea while a soft breeze rolled off the mountains. She looked at me carefully. "Do you regret any of it?" I exhaled slowly. I didn't lose a daughter that day. I lost an illusion, and illusions are easy to replace. Peace is not. If this story touched you, remember to like, comment, or subscribe for more.